Assalamu alaikum students. Here in this video we will be discussing about 9th standard science syllabus. First let me show you how we have classified this syllabus into 3 parts. Here I have pointed out that one. You can note it down in your reader as well. Here the first 4 chapters are from chemistry, wherein we will be discussing about matter, atoms and molecules and structure of the atom. These are the very basic but very important things that you need to study in chemistry part. Then we have biology part, wherein the fundamental unit, that means the cell, animal cell, plant cell, how do they make tissues, then due to the formation of tissues how organs are formed and how are they involved in different life activities. We will be discussing that in this part. Then we have physics part, wherein movement of the body, that is nothing but motion, how force when it is applied on any body or any object, what are the different kinds of phenomena that you will see there. Gravitation, that is nothing but how we are able to stand on earth, the force that is required there to make us stand on earth. Work and energy, different forms of energy, how are they converted from one form to another form. Sound, different sound energies, what kind of sound you are able to hear and what kind of sound is inaudible, that means you cannot hear them. Then we have this chapter, why do we fall ill, that means why do we suffer from different kinds of illnesses, which are the organisms responsible for that. Next is natural resources, in which we will study about water, air, that means wind, and different other sources that help us to derive energy from them. Then finally we have the 15th chapter, improvement in food resources, that means through agricultural activities, poultry, fishing and all these things, how are they helpful in improving the quality of the food as well as the production, supply, management, all these things for different kinds of food items. So these are the chapters that are included in your 9th standard syllabus. One by one we will deal with them, right? The very first chapter that we are going to see is matter in our surroundings. So students, here is our first chapter, matter in our surroundings. As per the name of this chapter, matter. What is matter in our surrounding? That means around us, whatever the things are there, to which substance, to which thing will you call as matter, right? Now see, around us we see many objects, many living things, non-living things, right, which are of different shapes, different sizes and different textures. Here textures, it here refers to its appearance, whether it's very smooth, soft or hard, rough, like that, right? So we come across different kinds of objects around us which are having different shapes, sizes, textures, or all these things around us have different qualities, have different properties, right? Some are solids, some are liquids. All these are the things that we see in our surroundings. Then not only those things, we have many other things which appear as if they are not there, but still you can feel them, you can see them. For example, clouds. Though they appear as if very soft or not having weight, very light in structure and weight, but still their presence can be felt. Stars are there, planets, they are very far from us. Stones, food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the different kinds of objects that we use, all these things are included under matter. All the things, whether living or non-living, you can call them as matter. But remember one thing, there are only two things that need to be considered, that need to be kept in mind to call any substance as matter, and that is mass and volume. If any object has mass, in general terms we can say if it has got some weight and has volume here we are referring to the space that it is occupying, right? For example, this pen, even though it is very light in weight, and it is not so heavy that I cannot lift it, but it has got some mass, right? It has got some weight, even though it is very light, but it has got some weight, maybe some grams only, but it has some weight, right? And if I keep it here, right, if I am keeping this here, then it is occupying some space, right? It is covering some area where I cannot put any other object, right? This space has been occupied by this pen, and no other object will take its place. To such objects, to such things, we will call as matter. That is, it must have two things: space, that means it must cover some space, it must have volume, and the very next thing is weight, that is nothing but mass. For example, let's take another example as well, this textbook. If I am keeping this textbook on the table, on the bench, right, it has occupied some space, it has covered some area where I cannot place any other book. Even though you can stack them one above another, that's a different thing, but you cannot keep any other notebook on its place, right? Are you getting the point here? You cannot just fill any other thing in this textbook's place. So it has occupied some area, it has covered some space, as well as it has got some weight, right? It might be heavier than this pen, it might be lighter than the bench, but still it has got some weight, right? So that's why this book can also be considered as matter. Not only these inanimate objects, that means non-living things, we humans are also matter. How? If I stand, or if you stand on any, or you can say, if you stand on any place, if you are sitting on a bench, then can any other person take your place? No. You have covered some area, you have occupied that space, and along with that one you have got some weight. Hence, you yourself is also an example of matter. That's the point in this chapter. Matter is anything, it can be anything. It can be a very minute object, a medium sized object, or a very large object as well. But if it has got these two things, mass and volume, then you can call it as matter. I think you have got the idea here. These two things are the only criteria to describe anything as matter, right? Now here, see, in the reader, in your textbook, it has been explained that people have been aware of this concept. It is not like science has developed nowadays and we are studying matter for the very first time in this modern age only. No. People have been aware of this concept. They were very well aware of this matter. People were aware of this matter and the substances. That means everything is made up of very tiny objects, very minute particles. And they also had the concept that whatever the things are present around us, they are made up of 5 elements, 5 very basic things. Here it has been referred as, you can see, Panch, that means 5. Tattva here refers to elements, substances. So here, when these 5 substances are combined together in proper ratio, then different objects are formed around us. What are those 5 objects? Air, earth, fire, sky, and water. So these are the things, these are the 5 inanimate objects, that means non-living things, that give rise to any other living or non-living object, right? So about this, by keeping this concept in mind, people had the idea, very clear idea about matter, even from a very long time only. Now here in this chapter, we are going to see how this matter has been classified into different kinds of matter. Now, what are its properties, what are the basic things or basic properties that any matter will have, right? So in this manner, this was the introduction of this chapter. What are its properties? That means physical nature, its appearance, the properties we'll see in the next video.